So what we're doing first is we're going to create the flow or the process. So I've covered this in another video where I'm explaining. Let me see if I bring this over. Okay, cool. Let me pull it up right here. So I explained in this video that we've covered earlier this week where this is how you would build out the perfect product, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
once you get to around this stage where you're building out the offer and you're trying to build it around the client, right? So it's somewhere around this piece. So if you're struggling to get a client, you'll apply it here with what you find. If you've just spoken to people in the market, which you should be doing again around here, you can then
Right.
build this process around it. So an example of what this process will look like is something like this, where it's a full flow. And I've never worked with somebody, let's say, in the roofing space. And this is like perfect for roofers. I have not worked with anybody in the roofing space per se. And yet I've built this out. And then I gave it to my one of my coaching clients, and he used this mind map to get his first sales conversation with a roofer. So that's exactly what we were able to do. And look, I've never worked with a roofer. This is just from market research and building out the process. So this right here came strictly from this and this. And that led to him working with his first client in that space. So let's go back to our note and we'll go through the process. Who do we have here? We don't need that. Let's see, we don't need motion. We don't need Slack. We don't need notes. Let me get chat pulled up. Okay, great. So starting here, we're going to do a pipeline creation for, are you remodeling or flooring? Or do you want,
Remodeling.
okay, so let's do pipeline creation for remodeling. So number one, let's go through this. All right, number one. Can I make this bigger? Yeah, let me make this bigger so you guys can actually see. Is that good?
Yep.
Okay, great. So in this process, we want to understand from start to finish, what is the process of a new client coming to you or to your client, and how do we
Right.
take them from a stranger to a lead to a paying customer? Now, we can go ahead and let's start with the stranger to lead, okay? This I'm
Right.
going to do this one with you so you can see how easy it is. What are all of the ways that you generate clients in this space? Now, this is something where a lot of people will make the mistake. So a lot of people will immediately say, "What do you do for your client?" And you're going to come and say, "Well, what I do is, I run PPC campaigns for this industry.
Right.
I do XYZ for this industry." What is the goal? What are you trying to accomplish? What you're trying to accomplish is you're trying to figure out how to get your client customers. We don't care about the delivery mechanism. The industry will tell you what to do.
Put this mirror
So,
down. Stop holding a mirror.
so stranger to lead, right? If you have stranger to lead, what does this look like? So first off, I'm going to give you the generics. PPC, right?
Right.
Facebook leads, word of mouth marketing, organic, local. You could say SEO,
Search.
GMB.
Yep.
You could say maybe LSA, right? So these are all very generic things, okay? At the end of the day, I'm not going to focus on this because all you have to do is just have these and point them in. If you go talk to a PPC professional, they basically will go work with an industry and they'll master it very quickly because the process is the process. It's keyword research, plug it in, right? Same for
Right.
Facebook, same for organic leads, same for LSA, word of mouth marketing. I'll show you how we created here's another mind map that I created, and I'm going to show you how to do all of this today. Here's another mind map how I created for just word of mouth marketing using GHL. Customers ask who their friends use for lawn care landscaping. This is a very organic, right? That's word of mouth. So when they ask and then they send that person to you, you get lawn care customer. With the lawn care customer, you have automations that upsell them. Then we want to send feedback forms to collect positive reviews. Then we want to get or then we are ranking higher because we have more positive reviews. If somebody leaves a positive review, we want to send a referral campaign to them to incentivize them to send their friends. They send their friends. The cycle continues, right? This is a
Right.
flow chart showing that. It's very easy to see how when you get a customer, you can turn that customer into another customer. On the other hand, you get reviews, and then when people go to search on Google and they see your optimized listing, they come in, you get a customer, right? So it does not have to show everything. It just needs to show the main piece of what you are trying to do. And from there, you can really visualize it. So you can see how that's an example. But we're going to be working on the actual product today, not the traffic generation. This is the actual pipeline creation, right? So stranger
Mhm.
to lead is very simple. So now it becomes a game of lead to buyer. You can say lead to buyer, lead to customer, lead to client. It doesn't matter. This is the same process, right? So this is where we need to understand the moment that they click on a link or the moment that they reach out to you. Now it's
Submit a
game.
form.
So right here you have an example. I'm not creating a mind map on this or a flowchart on this. The minute they click on it for roofing, I do a split test for an estimate, right? So I'm not going to cover this one again. I've already covered that in depth. I'm going to actually help you build one out. So now, from the full perspective, we have to consider here's some considerations. Consider both your client and their customer journey. Okay.
Right.
We have to consider all of it, and we can color code and everything. We'll get to that later. So lead to buyer, customer, client. So and then the next piece that we'll do after that, by the way, is we'll say like we'll just say fulfillment. I was gonna say like customer fulfillment. We'll just say fulfillment, right? Giving them what it is that they paid for. So let's start with lead to buyer. Now, the reason I want to segment these is because if you are using GHL to plug into a niche specific CRM that either you are using or your client is using, then you only need to worry about lead to buyer, because once you get to the lead to buyer and they've been um, accepted as a client, then we can use an automation to push them from GHL into that niche specific CRM using Zapier, using Integromat, using webhooks, using Open API, depending on what platform you're doing. And I can even show you how to do that. But let's start here. Lead to buyer. So, Ayush, for you, you have somebody come to you or your client, they want to work with them. Walk me through what that process looks like.
Okay, so like it could start in a variety of different ways. For example, like it could
All right,
be
so
through a
pause,
call.
pause.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
I'm glad you said that. So this is why when we go to work with a client, this is why it's good to bring them something, but not everything. Because let's say I built out this full process in GHL, SOPs, everything around one method. And then I go and I like, oh, I want to work with a client. And that client goes, oh, my method's the complete opposite. You just
Right.
wasted all that time, right? So what you just said is very important. That's why we start with what's called a minimum viable product. This is what is the smallest bare bones thing that I can create that translates value that I can then take and show to people that will then get me clients, get me traction, get me visibility. Okay.
Right.
What is the bare minimum that I can do to get a meeting? It's not because we're being lazy, it's because we're being efficient. If you build it all out, I've made this mistake. Who here, raise your hand, who here has taken 6 to 8 weeks to build a website only to have to change it 2 days later?
Definitely
If
has
you,
happened, man.
I've done that. Right? This is why you start with what's called an MVP. The MVP is the MVP. The minimum viable product is the most valuable player. Okay. So lead to buyer. So I'm very happy you said that. Keep going. So let's pick one example, for example. And you can even speak in generics, and I'll even show you how we adjust it. But go ahead, Ayush. So stranger
Okay,
finds you. What do we
so
do?
yeah, so let's say that a stranger submits an estimate request on the website, right? Then that person is now that person has requested an estimate, right? And then after that, they're going to be waiting on an approval, and then the company is or
Like
the
like waiting
business.
on a quote.
Yes, exactly. They're
Okay.
going to be waiting on a quote. And then the business is going to get back to them and be like, hey, I need you to come in, or I need you to either come into the store if it's a flooring retailer, or I'm going to have to go to your house for an on-site inspection. That way we can get you a more accurate quote
Now watch
or
this.
estimate.
Now watch this. If they come to me first, do we eventually have to give them an on-site quote?
If they come to you first. Yes.
Like if you okay, so let's skip out, come here, and need to be on site. Let's just skip that step out for them. So it's much faster. You come
Okay. Yeah.
in, then they're like, why'd you tell me to come in? You could have just come to me. Let's just skip that part.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
business communicates a quote and a need to be on site. What happens next?
So after that, the actual business is gonna send somebody to go over to the site and essentially do the measurements and walk them through the consultation and come up with an estimate for the customer, for the lead.
So rep goes on site for measurements and provides exact quote.
Right. And now we're gonna have a contract being sent out to that lead.
Hmm.
After the contract is sent to the lead, if the lead is interested, now so now this is where it could kind of like
Hit
in the
me.
best case scenario, right? Um the business gets to secure some funding, some upfront funding from the lead, and if the lead is not happy, is unhappy, now we're gonna have to provide. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of objection handling. We're gonna have to do some follow up. We're gonna have to do some sales, right?
Right. All right. Now let's keep moving on. And now watch
All
it.
right.
Now, well, no, no, I'll come back to it. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, so now that the okay, so now that that contract has been sent to the lead, let's just say that we've secured funding, right? Like
Hmm.
that could be its own phase, right? And then after the funding is secured, we need to prepare for the job. This is where fulfillment kind of becomes
Perfect.
this
So
is where
let's pause.
fulfillment comes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pause right here. So now, if you are using GHL entirely, you are going to continue down this path. And what you're going to see is that for fulfillment, you are going to have the GHL tasks. If you are not using GHL, if your client is not using GHL, this is a full stop for GHL. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to move them over from your GHL system and we're going to use Zapier and we're going to use Integromat. And I'm going to show you how to do that very quickly. And we're going to push them over. So now what I want to do before we go there, let's look at step two. Submits a request for an estimate. Client waits on quote. Business communicates, and let me come in here. I'm going to add the subject. So let's say customer, oops, customer, customer waiting on a quote. Business communicate. Let's say I'm going to change these from just everything business will either be, it'll either be business or customer. Contract sent to customer. If the customer's happy, if the customer's happy, funding secured. So what I want to realize, right? Let's come back here. Customer submits a request. So now I want to show you, I'm going to show you how my pipeline is put together respective to this, okay? But I'm going to show you how to build one out, right? So Ayush, for you specifically, right? Check this out. Landing page focused on getting a faster instant quote. That's what you said they come into, right?
Yep.
We want to split test. What is the best way to get a quote? So if you're on the 497 plan, you can split test your funnel. I can have either a landing page focused on an instant quote using a calculation, radius, check boxes, math formulas, whatever. They can put it
Right.
in. They put in their name and it sends them an email. Or there's a landing page that focuses on instead getting them an on-site quote within 48 hours. Either way, you have to get an on-site quote. One is just saying, here's an estimate. Let's talk. The other is saying, hey, we can't give you an estimate unless we see. All you're doing is split testing to see what performs better. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Next, either way, you're collecting personal information and the project details. Now,
Yep.
once they get either the estimate or the request to provide an on-site estimate, you just said follow up. Check this out. Day one, SMS, email, voicemail drop.
Yep.
Day two, SMS, no reply. Goes to day two, SMS, no reply. SMS and a voicemail drop. No reply. SMS and an email. No reply. SMS. No reply. We add them to a cold lead tag. If they reply, it pushes to an on-site inspection. This is what you just told me we do, right?
Yep.
Communicates a quote and need to be on site, right?
Yep. Yep.
Push to on-site inspection. If you go and have an objections, use templated scripts, which go back to pushing to the on-site or go back to closing, right? If there's no objections, appointment is scheduled. Just like you said, client is happy, funding is secured, appointment is scheduled. So I have it to where this it's secured after this. So you can have it secured in their niche specific CRM or you can have it secured in GHL. But that moment where they give the verbal close, they become a customer.
Right.
So funding secured initiates the fulfillment, like you said. And this is just like,
Yep.
getting in the weeds of it of what you consider it. If it's like before fulfillment or it's the moment you're getting in the weeds, it doesn't really matter because you don't have to segment it like this. But your pipeline, you see clear pipeline stages. Quote sent, waiting on reply, on-site scheduled, right? Full quote given or accurate quote given or contract given, right? It's waiting here. And then funding secured, right?
Right.
You can see clear stages. Now, we want to make sure that this process is automated. So that's where this flow chart, I'm kind of like jumping ahead of myself to show you, but that's where this flow chart does it for them. So if they get a quote, what's the fastest way to get you a quote? I can either instantly send it to you, or I can instantly send an email, SMS, and voicemail drop spaced out throughout that day to get you to call me back to schedule something to where I can go see you in person. Neither of which require your customer to pick up the phone and call somebody, right?
Right.
So now I'm understanding the process, and then I'm asking myself, how can I make this automated, or how can I make it to where they don't have to do anything?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we want to say if the customer is unhappy, so send contract to customer, handle objections, and follow up to close deal until customer is happy. If we lose customer, you can see I'm writing it to where it's like an if then thing, right? It's like a flow. You
Yep.
can see the flow already. If we lose customer, customer is added to,
To the cold,
yeah,
that cold
cold
thing.
leads
Yeah.
list, funding
Yeah.
secured. And then this would be if the client or if the, yeah, client has a niche specific CRM, move customer into CRM to collect funding. That's it. Now check this out. Let's say they're using Jobber, okay?
Yep.
You're gonna come up to your to explore apps. You're gonna come up here to it's either Go High Level or Lead Connector. This might be a Lead Connector one. Yeah, there he is. Lead Connector. We're gonna scroll down and you're gonna see search for pairing apps. Jobber right there. I'm gonna show you more. Don't worry. Let's see if they have Service Titan. Service Titan right there. That's
Check
not
QuickBooks.
House Call Pro. QuickBooks.
QuickBooks.
All connected. Now check this out. Let's go back to Jobber. So it's showing you you're connecting these two, right?
Right.
Now we're going to scroll down. You have templates. Create and update lead connector opportunities from a new Jobber quote. So this could be a Jobber
Mm.
quote that then pushes into GHL. Hang on. Create and update lead connector contracts for new job clients. We don't even need anything that crazy. We need one automation to push them over. Just one. So let's come
Right.
over here. Create Jobber client from updated lead connector stage for seamless lead management. There it is.
Right.
Try, it even tells you, try it out. Let's go to details. When a lead stage changes in lead connector, meaning they get moved to the pipeline saying ready for funding or funding ready, or you know what I mean? Like ready to move, whatever pipeline stage you want to name it. This integration will create a new client in Jobber, instantly updating your client list and ensuring smooth transitions between sales and stages. Stay organized and never miss a beat.
Hmm. Yeah. And this
And
will
you know,
push into their CRM basically as a new lead. Right.
and then Jobber will handle the review requests. Jobber will, and then in GHL, you can still have it to where once you click that button of moving it over, you could still click that, you could still wait, and you could still click. Once the job is done, you could have another Jobber automation that says once the job is done, it updates the stage in GHL. Let's go back so you know I'm not right here. Create and update lead connector opportunities from new Jobber quote. So then I could say once this quote is completed, right? Right here, update lead connector contacts for a new job or completion. So let's say the job's completed. I update the lead connector contact with a tag that says job completed. Within 24 hours, we have our review request or our referral campaign and review request. Two automations that they have right on the front page. You see how quick that was?
Yeah, no, I see.
If I click try, I think I have to log in. I'm not gonna make a thing. Yeah, you have to log in and do it. But I think if I no, it's not here. It might be here if I scroll down. It literally yeah, this is it. It shows you how to do it. Select the trigger from lead connector. Set up an action, dude. It just walks you through it. That's it, dude. Look how simple this is. Set up a trigger. Trigger is change in pipeline. Set up an action from Jobber. Create new client, and it tells you right there how to even do it.
And you said that, and you were saying that on the niche specific CRM, that's going to be where the automations for like reviews and stuff are handled.
Yes, or you come back up when the job is complete. Let's go to the details of this one. When the job is complete, let me see. Let me see. Here it is. When the job is complete, Jobber and Lead Connector, when a job is marked as complete, it will automatically create or update the corresponding contact in Lead Connector. This simple automation ensures your
Mhm.
contact stays up to list. So when it's complete, your trigger is job complete. Your action is add a tag to client, and the
Yeah,
tag
in
could be
GHL.
job com yeah, in GHL, and the tag could be
Right.
job complete, and then that initiates the review and referral campaign.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. Yeah.
But that does not look scary at all, right?
No, it's not too bad at all.
So right there, that means that for you guys, if you're plugging it in, somebody give me a in the chat. Somebody tell me more like niche specific CRMs you guys are familiar with, and we'll see if they're on Zapier or Make. Same Make, they're identical. So check this out. For you, Ayush, all you're building is this. That's all
Right.
you build. And then you plug it into their CRM. And now they're paying you 300 a month, 600 a month for this system plugged into their system.
Okay, I see.
Now, let me ask you, do you think that those people pushing SaaS 24/7, do you think they're going to have any kind of solution similar to this?
I honestly don't know, man. I don't know what those guys are doing.
All they're doing is they're just trying to push GHL. We're saying
Right.
GHL is
We're
a,
building on top of GHL, right? Which makes it a lot more inherently valuable.
yeah. So we've got someone asked Service Titan. Let's look at Service Titan. Service Titan. There you go. Same thing.
Hey, Alec, can I ask a quick question around this very point?
Yeah.
The objection I've gotten sometimes around this is, oh, well, I don't want two different CRMs. You know, obviously
Mm,
they don't understand that this is just the marketing side of it, right? And then we're sending everything over, vice versa. But I'm just wondering
mhm.
how you would handle that objection.
Yeah. When they say they don't want two different CRMs, what are they using their CRM for currently?
So, like, you
It's
know,
usually client management, right?
yeah, it's client management, invoicing, that kind of stuff.
Perfect. So
Okay.
there's two CRMs that we use here. You have your client CRM and you have your lead CRM. So no platform, there's not a single platform that does the client CRM and the lead CRM really, really well. Jobber right now is not better than GHL for lead management. I can't put a website, I can't do a funnel, I can't do cold email, I can't do any of that. GHL does not have as mobile and as simple an interface for especially mobile users to do what they need to do on the job on the go. So I'm not saying, and I have people come to me, they're like, well, how do I make a system better? I had Michael came to me and he was like, well, my competition is Jobber. I'm like, why is it your competition? I'm like, does Jobber do everything GHL does? He's like, no. I'm like, what is GHL really good at? It's like marketing CRM. Great. So marketing CRM is code for getting you strangers to leads, right? It's this phase right here. Then once you go to fulfillment, this would be niche specific CRM. And so the really nice piece with this too is that when you're going to talk with a client, you're not saying, "Hey, change your CRM." What a headache. What a headache.
Right.
I've got to update your whole CRM. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You got to retrain your whole team on that. I mean, and then well, what if I did it for $10 a year? Would you do it right? You see how people like kind of fall down that trap? What I say is I say, "Hey, check it out. I want you to use your CRM. I don't want to change a thing. We can even look at it, see if we can, use it better and make life easier for you. But here's the thing. I don't want to change your current CRM. I want to pump it full of numbers. And we do that by having a marketing CRM. Now, even if you have one CRM, you're going to have multiple pipelines. What I'm suggesting is that I have a marketing pipeline for you that you don't ever have to touch, and we're just pumping numbers into your pipeline. So you just keep using your CRM, and I really hope you enjoyed as much as you said you enjoyed it because you're about to use it a whole lot more. And then that's where the SWAS comes in. I don't want them touching the ad campaigns because they're gonna mess it up. I don't want them touching the nurturing campaigns because they're gonna mess up the communication. They're gonna talk to a lead, right? I didn't close that one client, so I'm gonna change my message today. I didn't close those two clients. I'm gonna change my message today. No, you need to keep it until you have enough numbers to come in to pull accurate data. So don't touch it, hands off, right? Like they reaching onto your plate, you gotta smack their hand a little bit. Get off the plate. I'm gonna feed you. Just let me cut the pork first, kind of thing. So same thing here. All you're doing, you're not changing a thing. You're saying, I have a marketing pipeline that we plug into your system. And that's it. Now, if they don't have one, they can still come to you for a full build, which is what we'll cover next. But if they already have it, you can plug into it. And check this out. Let's go to builtwith.com. Let's go here. Let's type in Jobber. Let's click enter. Let's go Jobber user or usage statistics. Let's scroll down. Live and historical. Live sites right now using Jobber? What is this? All these people using Jobber. And it's even telling you tech spend, how much they're spending on it. I don't think this is very accurate, but look at this. It's even sharing some of their sales revenue. I don't think those numbers are accurate at all, but these are live websites. Let's go to Baird Lawns or whatever this is. I don't know what it's doing. That's not letting me do that. Let's try this. Let's try this. There you go. Lawn care using Jobber. And then I can even copy this back. Let's go back to built with. Let's throw this in there. I can tell you everything they're using. Look at it. It's telling you everything they're using. Look at this. And then that's plugged into Jobber, which you wouldn't see if you just pulled this up. You had to find it the other way. So I know they're not using GHL. I don't even see, are they even using any forms? It doesn't look like it. Let's go back here. They're probably using something that's like standard to the website. Look at that. That's their best form. So I could fill it out. I could record myself. I could fill it out and I could sit there with a timer and be like, it's been 15 minutes. I don't have an email. I don't have a text from one of your representatives. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to go onto your competition. And then when I go to your competition, they're going to get me. And that could be your whole loom. Or I could set this up and you'll retain your clients within 2 minutes of them submitting a form. It initiates this whole process right here. Minimum viable product. I don't have to say I've done it before. I don't have to say I'm the best at doing it. All I have to say is you have a problem. I just recorded you having that problem, so you can't deny that you have a problem. And I have a system right here that I could build for you, and it would fix this problem within 7 days, 10 days, 20 days. It's one thing to look at somebody and say, you have a problem. It's another thing to show somebody the problem, and now they internalize the problem, and then they say, I have a problem. That's the hardest part in anything. The hardest part in anything is getting somebody to understand that they have a problem the way that you view it. I'm not eating right. I'm not sleeping right. I need to stop doing drugs and alcohol. I have a gambling problem. My website sucks. Maybe I am a jerk to my friends and family. Maybe I don't know how to drive because I keep hitting the curb. Maybe I should be nicer to my kid, right? It's the same thing every single time. These people don't recognize they have a problem. You have to show them they have a problem. And if you want a really, really, really good sales process, you need to show them you have a problem. What if we could change it? This is the result you would see. Here are the features I use, and here's how this could directly benefit you. Right there, 3-minute Loom video. Boom, sent over. And don't worry, I'm still going to show you guys how to build out these flowcharts.
I have a question, Alec. Could you talk a little bit about the actual like pipeline management and like the communication between us and the client in terms of like when a lead is updated and their status? Like how does that kind of play out?
Yeah. What is your, and I already know the answer, but I want to help you come to the answer as well.
Right.
What do you think the biggest concern is with where this question is going?
The concern is how invested the client probably needs to be, right, in the
Yeah.
system, and how much time they have to allocate to managing the new infrastructure and the new communication.
Right. So your concern might be otherwise phrased as if this is not simple and fast, they're not going to do it. It's not going to work.
Right.
Right. So
Or
that
or
tells,
maybe that caused dissatisfaction in some way, right? That's
right,
yeah.
right. So that tells you we need to keep this as simple as humanly possible, right?
Right.
So there's two ways that you can take this approach. Number
Yeah.
one, in GHL, you give your client access to two things, maybe a few more, but just a few things. So it'd be all in one inbox, contacts, and pipeline.
Right.
Nothing else. Turn off access for everything else. I don't want you to. I've had a client. Has anyone had a client where you're working on the website and then you get off of work and then they message you, "Oh, I tried to do something, I messed it up."
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a client who we billed like $7,000 because he just kept coming in and touching it. And I kept telling him how much it would be for me to fix it, and he just kept doing it. And I eventually just said, "You don't have access anymore." Like, money's one thing, but I can't even turn this into a case study because you're just like in there meddling around so much. It was that bad. So
Dumb.
I don't want them touching anything but what I want them touching. So then in the pipeline, let's say I want them to have the pipeline.
Right.
All I want to have them do is for them to click and drag and let go.
Okay.
That's
So
it.
you want them to manage the pipeline on their side, kind of like so, because like how else would
That's
they would we
that's
know, right?
option one. That's option
Right.
one.
That's
So
option one.
option one is very simple. Now, if we keep that in
Right.
mind, what that means is all of our triggers need to be change in pipeline, not tag, not it either needs to be customer action, which automatically moves it, or it needs to be change in pipeline, which automatically triggers it, right?
Yep. Yep.
All right. That's option one. Here's option two. Option two is you don't do a thing. You just text me when an update happens with a client and we'll do it for you. Now, in
Right. Okay.
option
Got it.
two, you have a
Yep.
VA built in who they get all those things. They basically do the same thing. And then you charge a lot more money because they don't have to do anything besides here's what's happening. Now,
Right. That's the pipeline, like pipeline management, basically,
what
right?
I will tell you is that these
Mhm.
guys are not as afraid of pipeline management as you may think. If you keep it as a visual, drag it over, it's pretty simple. And if you have an SOP and a video to go with it, you just got a client to click on this video. So like, and you saw in my Say So 5.0 update, I'm changing all the titles of videos of when this happens, watch this video or do this to do that, right? Your
Mm.
client wants to work with you. It's now time to send them a contract. Watch this video. Move it over.
Yeah.
It's going to
Super
send them
helpful.
this.
Yeah,
Right.
that's helpful, man. That makes sense.
Yeah. But now you can see why this is all built around client number one, because imagine I then come to you and I'm like, hey, Ayush, I have a system and you have to do it my way. You have to use my CRM. If you have a CRM, good luck. If you communicate this way, I communicate that way. Good luck. You do it my way. Or, hey, Ayush, we have this system. It is 80% built out. This 20% right here is all about you to make your life easier, to make your team life easier, to help you remove yourself from the process. So you can keep doing jobs. You can spend your time on jobs, on the business, or go on vacation and you know the whole thing's working well, right? It's a very
Right.
clear, obvious winner who wins. And then if I'm doing that much more, think about it. Would you rather pay 495 a month, 97 a month to have a system that you have to figure out and you have to build together and you have to go wait on Zoom support and Zoom calls and you've got to hire somebody to do all this for you in-house, and or would you rather say I'll pay 697, 897, 997, full systems built for me. If I have any issues, I go to Ayush, he fixes it, he changes it, he makes a video on how to do it, he puts it in our membership, I click it, I watch it, I'm done. And then my secretary can come in, he or she can just watch those videos and then that's it. I don't even have to train them. It's a no-brainer.
Right.
And think about it. The people who are going to want to save 200 bucks, 300 bucks, 500 bucks a month, what do you think that kind of business owner is? They cheat.
They're not the ones who are looking to move up, you know? They're not
We
striving for better.
don't want to, yeah, we don't want to work with them. It's not because they're bad people. It's just, I don't want to work with somebody who wants to do it themselves. Go on the SaaS plan,
It's not
right?
ideal customer.
Right. It's not who we want to work with. We want the people who want more jobs and to do less work. That's it.
Right.
So let's take this over to ChatGPT and let's start cooking in the kitchen a little bit. So
All right.
what we're gonna do. Can you guys see my screen? Let me make sure. Yeah, we're in chat. Great. What we're gonna do, free plan, okay? You're gonna come over here to explore GP. Actually, before we go over here, let's make sure we refine this. So I'm gonna copy this process here and here.
And maybe we should talk. Maybe you should add the for the fulfill, like what happens after they're finished the job. Like maybe just a quick note
Yeah.
on that for the reviews, and the referral campaign.
Okay. You're saying
Yeah, like after fulfillment, like
Oh yeah.
um,
We'll come to that
you know.
later. I want to do just plugging it into their system.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
So I'm gonna tell ChatGPT. Am I in the way? No, I'm not. Okay.
No, no, no.
Uh, I here we go. Want to build a flowchart using this information. Before I build the flowchart, I want to make sure my process makes sense. Context. Help me clarify the process, but do not build the flowchart. Here is the process. All right, let's let it do its work. Okay, PPC, Facebook, word of mouth marketing. The goal in the stage is to convert. Perfect. Lead submits a request. Scenario 1. Oh, I like how they changed the scenarios. All right. Make sure there's a decision point in step 5. Okay. In step 6, the optional CRM can be made conditional, i.e., if applicable. You could add a follow-up process for cold leads at a later stage. Yeah, so we left out the cold lead stage, so that's good to know. So let's say, can we add a 6-step series to follow up with the client in between the, let's say, I'm looking at step 2. No, step 3 and step 4.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. Between step 3 and step 4. So once they get the quote, I want them to then have a follow-up to make sure they get the on-site inspection.
Yep.
In the 6-step follow-up, I want the following to occur until an appointment is secured. 1, or let's say day 1, SMS, email, voicemail. Day 2, SMS. Day 3, SMS, voicemail. Day 4, SMS, email. Day 5, SMS. Day 6, let's say internal notification to call. So it's going to update. Beautiful. Great. So now here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy this, okay? We're going to copy this. We're going to come over here to explore GPTs. Oh, wait, hang on. Someone's in the chat. Okay, it was you. Okay. So we're going to come over here to explore GPTs. We're going to come here. We're going to type in flowchart. You're going to see something that says whimsical pop up. There she is.
Wow.
We're going to click start chat. We're going to say, help me create a flowchart of this process. Now, I'm going to come up here. Oh, here's a little pro tip for ChatGPT. You see it has all these like weird asterisks. You can come over. If you don't want that, you can literally just copy it like this, and it'll copy the actual formatting.
Nice. Okay.
So let's go back here, back here, back here, back here. Okay, help me create a flowchart of this process. So now at least it doesn't have the weird asterisks in there. Now, one thing I will
Yeah.
say is that it doesn't have the bullet point, so I want to make sure that it's segmented properly. So like step 6, and then these have these scenarios. So let's see.
New app idea right there. GPT formatter.
Yeah, I don't even know if that would do anything.
Yeah.
Let's see. Stranger to lead. I want to get rid of this. I don't want the goal here. I'm gonna put here. Let's put all of these going to the quote request in step 2. So now I'm doing this live with you. This could be hideous. Let's see. So it says to visualize this, I'll create a flowchart. I'll include blah, 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 starting action. So now it's going to be working. So it's telling me what it's doing. It's going to be working. And then we're going to see a link. Now, if you've never done this before, it may say, can you talk to, it may say add permission. You just give it permission. Here's a flowchart.
Hmm.
So now we can come over here. We'll show this piece. If we scroll down, it should say you can view or edit this diagram. So let's go view this diagram. So this is whimsical whiteboard app. It's nothing crazy, nothing special. So let's see. So correction, I need some of these to go into the quote request. I didn't do that. Lead submits request for estimate, lead awaiting quote, business
Yep.
communication, quote and discuss on-site visit. So follow-up series begins. So I want these days to be kind of next to each other. If it's not really doing that, then I can go back in Canva and rebuild it. Appointment secured, business on-site provides exact quote, contract sent to customer. Is customer happy? Proceed with secure funding, funding secured, new CRM. Is company happy? No, handle objections until follow-up. I probably want like a loop back to that. Or is customer happy? Add cold lead list. So this is not a bad starting point. There's a few things I'd want to correct, and then I can correct that here. I could come in here and I could say, hey, I want these, going into this one, right? I could say I want all of these. Goodness gracious. Let's say I want to take this. Dang, this thing is sensitive. And let's take this one here. I don't need that arrow. Definitely don't need that arrow. Now let's get those kind of synced up. There we go. And then I can center these. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Move this to like the middle here. And then I could feed all these in. So you see how fast I'm building this flowchart?
It's not bad at all.
And then I want, and one thing you can do too, is you can come back here and I could say something like, looks good, just so that, the Terminators don't kill me. A few points of correction. Number one, I want the traffic sources to all point to request quote, which should be step 2. Next, I want the follow-up sequence to be, let's say, horizontal, since they might not all be needed if the client agrees before the next follow-up. And then let's just see what that does. So now what it'll do is it'll come back in and try to rewrite some of these. And again, this could be a mess, so that's why I usually like to get like the first round out, and then I'll try to play with it, but let's see. Maybe it does it better, maybe it doesn't. Okay, this looks pretty good. Let's get rid of this one. All right. Let's see if it did anything we wanted. So it says stranger going in here, which isn't right. But PPC LSA, yeah, this looks awesome. Look at this. This needs to be more like um this shouldn't say stranger. This should say what PPC LSA. This could be like word of mouth, right?
Yep.
So word of mouth, look at this. Pushes a quote request, lead submits request for estimate, lead awaiting quote, business communicates quote and discusses on-site visit, follow-up series begins. Look at this. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Day 6. And then what we could do is we could do like, this. And then what I could put here is I could say like, um, well, yeah, we could just add like a bunch of arrows here going like this, depending on like when they reach out. But dude, look how much better this looks already. Appointment secured, business
For sure.
on-site quote, contract sent to customer. Is customer happy? Proceed with secure funding, funding secured, niche CRM. Is customer happy? Handle objections and follow up until closed. Or add to cold lead list. So I'd probably cut this one and kind of move it up here. You could actually, this is actually not a bad idea. We could keep it here and then I could duplicate it and have another one where it's like, okay, no reply, right? And then this could be like DVR to reactivate. So yeah, I might actually keep that. It's actually not a bad idea. So I could add them tier 2 if they don't like the quote or if they don't reply, right? But look, I mean, look at that. We did 2 prompts, and that's not a bad flowchart at all. Now, some points that I would do, you can see where they do like different shapes for different moments. You can also come in here and you could say, okay, I'm going to change this color. Let's leave like purple for things that the automation does. Let's change this to this color to things that customer does. So the customer is going to be blue. So the customer requests a quote, the lead or quote request. They're submitting a request. It's kind of like the same stage. So I'd probably like, get rid of this because it's the same thing. Lead or
Mm-hmm.
rating quote. I'd probably just do like this and then bring these down. Just simplify that. Business, that's going to be purple. Purple. Appointment secured. Purple. Business provides on-site quote. Is customer happy? This is a customer thing. Handle up, follow objection, secure funding, funding secured. So now I'm gonna add. I'm gonna take it a step further. So teal or blue or what did you call that? Like teal? We'll call it teal.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
It's
my
probably a
wife
little
isn't.
too light for teal.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you call aqua. What are we calling that?
Aqua,
All
like
right,
something
let's
like
go
that.
aqua. So we got aqua right here. Check this out. On this
Yeah,
process, I could tell
yeah.
you right now. I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay, this is gonna be a hard question. Let's put on our thinking
Okay.
caps. How many steps? How many actions do we need from the customer? Let me
Um,
even change this. Let me change this real quick, just because they have to agree to an appointment. So how many steps do you see visually right now that the customer has to do?
3.
3. Watch
Yeah.
this. Watch this. How many steps does the business owner themselves need to do? Ready for it? How many steps does the business owner have to do looking at this process now?
About 4.
So we're not only showing in this mind map, we're not only showing the aqua. So the customer does 3 things. Our client does 4 things. Watch this. How many things does our system do for them?
A lot.
There you go. So I'm showing value in the sense of this is all automated. You don't lift a finger. We're doing all of this for you. We're generating your traffic, and we can even let's take it a step further. We're going to help you generate. Let's make these like a nice, green is a little too close. Make them like a red. So now you have, let's take it a step further. Now, red is your traffic generation and purple is the client retention model. So in one picture, we've been on this call for like what? 56 minutes.
It's the old offer.
And
It's the
you
whole
have the
offer right there.
whole offer painted out. We generate you traffic, we put it into a lead marketing pipeline, and then we push it right into your CRM that you're already using. What are you going to do extra? You're not going to do a dang thing extra. Because number one, we could, as the appointment is scheduled, we could have that go right to the niche CRM. So we could do that. But you're already doing on-site quotes. Just get ready to do more of them. You're already drafting out contracts. Get ready to do more of them. When you send objections, we're actually going to have templates for you that handle the objections based on what you do. Are you willing to negotiate on price? Yes, we'll have scripting in there that helps lower pricing so you don't have to lift a finger and it closes for you. Are you willing to negotiate on price? No, let's have funding options. Or let's do funding options, then pricing. We have all that in there for you. Once you secured funding, all you have to do is send them a payment link. You're making them a custom quote, send the payment link. We could have the niche specific CRM. We could have it right here where the appointment is scheduled
And
and
we
it goes
push the
right.
lead over to the niche specific CRM.
There you go. I don't know why
Yeah.
this.
I think it's still probably makes the most sense to do it a little later than that, but that works
Yeah.
as well, I think.
You could do it
Yeah.
whichever way they prefer. That's the best part.
Right,
At what
exactly.
point do you want me to move it over into your system?
Yeah, I
And you
guess
know,
in
and you know
that
how you figure that out?
instance,
Here's how you figure that
on their
out.
current system.
Are you using contracting? Let's say you have Jobber. Are you using Jobber for contracts? Yes, great. We'll push it into Jobber earlier. Are you using Jobber for contracts? No. Would you like to? No. We'll do it on GHL. Would you like to? Yes, we'll do it there. Either way, your whole system, it doesn't change. It's just which part of it do you turn on and keep off? And you can see tier one offer is purple, tier two offer is red.
Right.
One mind map right there. And I've seen people who run ads like this. They just screenshot this and that
Yeah.
becomes their whole ad.
Yeah, I saw you talking about that yesterday with
Yeah.
that training on Monday.
Yeah. I
Like getting
think it
lead
was.
screenshots. Crazy.
I think it's this one. No, it's a different one. Is it this one? No, I can't remember which one it is. But there's one where all they did was just screenshot their mind map and that was it. So that's all we did. We map out the process and then
Horrible.
think about it. Let's say you have a new client. You're coming back here and all you're going to do is delete this and map it out, their process. And you just ask them, new client comes to you, what do you do? And then 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 what do you do? What if this doesn't go well? What if this doesn't go well? What if this doesn't go well? And it maps it out right here. And then you take it, ChatGPT, hey, looking at this, what considerations did I miss? And it even told me I even have it right here. I had my own follow-up sequence. I forgot to put it in there. Hey, it looks like you're missing a follow-up sequence. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
So now it doesn't matter, what client you have. You have a standard starting point. You're explaining that you can build this out around them. You're saying, hey, whoever wants this, we're going to build it out around you. It's going to be down the road. It's going to be $597 a month. It's going to be $697 a month. The first four people who help me build this out around them, because it's going to take a little bit longer, I'm going to build it out for you for $297 a month, $397 a month. I'm taking 5 people because in those 5 people, I need to be able to get constant feedback from you. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, man. It makes sense.
And then you can screenshot that and that becomes something you share with them. Or you save the whimsical link, you use that, or you can go into Canva and just recreate it.
Right. Becomes a good asset in general.
And thus you have your minimal viable product. How long did that take us once? I mean, I'm walking you guys through it. So of course I'm like talking and giving you context. But let's say that whole time I was grinding my fingers down to the bone. What was that, an hour?
Yeah, pretty much.
That was an hour of me walking you guys through it. How fast do you think I could build this out on my own? And what's really cool is how fast do you think you could build this out on your own now that I've recorded this and I'm going to be sharing this with you guys? And it's 100% free. I have the paid ChatGPT. I just used the free version. That was 100% free. Now, what you'll see if you're using the free version, make sure that you haven't used ChatGPT within 24 hours so you can get the most amount of responses out of it. Make sure that you do this in your notes first and go through it there because of course the more that you ask ChatGPT, the fewer responses you're going to have. Another pro tip you can do is if you really want help building a pipeline out, you can go to Claude AI, build it there, use your free uses of that day, then bring it to ChatGPT, and then you don't have to clean it up. You can go straight into Chat GPT prompts, type in flowchart, click whimsical, put it in there, play with it, and then go from there. And the best piece of advice is don't expect chat to build it out perfect because I've tried that and it ends up getting crazy because you're like, no, no, change this and change that. It ends up looking crazy. So get it near perfect and then rearrange it however you like. But that's it. And you can do this with any process. You can do this with the marketing side. You can do this with the fulfillment side. You can do this with the leads to fulfillment side. You can do this with how you wake up and start your day. You can do this with cooking instruction. It doesn't matter. It's any kind of flow chart. You can build it out this way. You can even start with instead of typing it all out, you could start with just doing a voice note and then having ChatGPT organize that note into a flow chart and then visualizing that flow chart. There's so many different ways you can do it. It just depends on how you have it already outlined or if you don't have it outlined. But let me go ahead and wrap up the recording and see what questions we have left.